Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to the Quad Pod. We have our favorite copyright-free music on the soundboard here, courtesy of WCUR. Thank you so much for these incredible beats.
That would actually be devastating, though, if we found out they weren't copyright-free.
It's the only reason we're using them. That would be heartbreaking.
That's actually a really famous instrumental we just had.
Today, not to go from a hearty laugh to saying this, but today is September 11th, just for, because you might be seeing this just a couple days later.
Yeah.
But we're recording on
of season 2.
We have a lot of things to get through naturally, if you're familiar with,
recent news.
If you exist, then you know. And we're gonna, but there's a lot of things though today.
Yeah.
We're gonna get right into it. Maybe we'll kind of soft launch this a little bit with maybe some things that aren't as inflammatory. So the Russian drones that were sent into Poland. This is something that happened. I think this happened yesterday, but because of other events, which we will get into later, because of other events, it kind of went under the radar.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even hear about it until you brought it up. Before we started filming.
And Connor brought it up, and I had seen this maybe once, but even working through today's agenda, this was not even on my radar just because of everything else. And I was telling you guys before we started recording that this is the kind of thing that on any normal day would have been absolutely front page news. It's crazy and just a serious escalation of everything we've been seeing. But to kind of if you're not familiar, so let me stop describing it so vaguely. Russia. It's technically unclear if this was on purpose or if it was a mistake. It seems like it was purposeful that Russia ended up sending a number of drones into Polish territory. The total number of drones reported by CNN is 16.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's not 16. Kind of gets to the point where it's if it's one, maybe you can say it's a mistake, but 16, that's over a dozen. So that's a little. I
mean, were they on the? Did it look like they were on the way to Ukraine, or I don't know.
Well, let's take a look at the map here, and we can get this up for the viewers too, because I don't think that's really an argument to be made. I'll send you a picture of this afterwards, Connor. Don't worry. I don't make your life hard.
Thank
you. So here's the thing, right? And we're looking at this right now, so we'll have the picture up for you. You can't really say that it was meant to go to Ukraine because Poland is entirely west of Ukraine.
Yeah, I don't think it.
So and again, Russia is over here in the east. So to say that it was on its way to Ukraine, you can't say that. If something went into Poland, it was supposed to go into Poland.
You would either have to have completely missed Ukraine or gone completely through Ukraine, and
you are either admitting total incompetence or intent. It's one or the other.
Why would Russia even?
Well, and kind of the answer to that question, or at least the way NATO has taken it, is that basically assuming that based on whatever the research is and whatever the angles are, and also the just kind of like you said on the map, that it was intentional, and that several of NATO's fighter jets or whoever had to scramble essentially to mitigate this or protect their airspaces or whatever, which apparently I had heard, I forget if it was the BBC or not, but essentially that it was the first time anything like that had to happen in 76 years.
Wow.
Because NATO has been so kind of reliant on the United States for anything like that. But the fact that they were able to and kind of and show a little bit of hey, back off or whatever, is interesting because it's just kind of that hasn't happened in a long time, and it's kind of showing they can do it and they don't need the U.S. necessarily, or at least in this instance, they were able to kind of do something about it by themselves.
Yeah.
It's definitely poking the bear, and the general analysis of this, and one that I would agree with, and what Connor is basically alluding to is Russia was trying to see what they could get away with, because Vladimir Putin knows that Trump, for some reason, is really intent on cozying up with him.
For some reason, yeah.
For some reason, and being friends, which is not gonna happen, dude. I hate to break a heart, but Donald, the guy doesn't want to be your friend. It's time to let this go. But the rhetoric coming out of the Trump administration on Europe, and this is kind of a thing that's taken a backseat given everything domestically, but it's still important to recognize from a foreign policy perspective, the administration continues to be very isolationist in terms of kind of separating from Europe and the rest of the Western world, and because apparently we're not getting a good deal. They're apparently they're kind of taking us for a ride, which I certainly wouldn't agree with. But because of that perspective by the administration, kind of giving an inkling that if there were to be a provocation on the European continent, that perhaps, and I don't know if Donald Trump has ever said this directly, but the implication is that perhaps if there were a provocation, the United States would not come to the defense of Europe.
Yeah.
And this is Putin kind of obviously not showing his whole hand, but kind of saying like, hey, well, if I sprinkle a few drones in Poland, what's the response going to be? And as a result, Poland has invoked Article 4, which is notably very different from Article 5. So if that rings a few alarm bells in your head, because it did for me at first, but then I read this article. So Article 5 is I don't know if any of you had heard of this, but Article 5 of NATO is when any country that's a part of NATO can say, we've been attacked, and everybody else is like obligated to come to our defense, which more or less means war if Article 5 is invoked.
Yes.
So it wasn't Article 5, but it was Article 4. And again, I'm getting this from the CNN article. And Article 4 of NATO states that they can bring an issue to the attention of NATO's principal decision-making body, the North Atlantic Council, and they will meet and discuss next steps. So this doesn't mean that something is definitely going to happen, but this does mean that, Poland called it, quote, a Russian provocation. And how can you blame them for that?
You just got hit by 16 drones. I don't expect you to sit there and let it happen.
So who knows what is going to happen with this?
It's kind of surprising to me about that. That Russia would just even attempt this. They can't even get through Ukraine, and now they're like, oh, you know what? Let's take on the whole UN.
It is funny because if you're Russia, you're right. You're supposed to be, you're supposed to be the big bear in the East.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be this really, tough and rugged and just, roll over people kind of army. And they can't even they can't take over a country that is how many times smaller than them. It's embarrassing for them.
Yeah.
It is.
And I have to say, I understand why Poland wouldn't invoke Article 5, because obviously that's a big step.
Yeah, of course.
But it is also the Polish historically have had to deal with the Russians and obviously Germany in World War II and stuff, taking them over and a bunch of different stuff. It's you can imagine that it might have been hard for them to keep their cool about it, because it's not the first time they've been messed with by Russia or whoever, and I'm sure they're more inclined to be skittish or freaked out by it than maybe the rest of NATO, but it's just I can imagine that their alarms are kind of high right now.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And Poland, perhaps more than any other country, Poland, because of exactly what you said, hates Russia. They really, really do hate Russia. And Poland is also one of the countries that received some praise from Donald Trump, because after him kind of complaining that a lot of NATO countries weren't meeting their military spending thresholds, which I believe is 2%, Poland is one of the countries that was spending more than 2% on their defense, and Donald Trump actually praised Poland for that reason, because, and it's a whole thing, I won't go into it, but the whole argument of we're paying into this more than they are, and it is a whole thing, I promise you. Yeah. But Poland spends a good amount of defense in terms of if you're looking at percentage of GDP, and they hate Russia. So you're absolutely right. This is for them it's personal, it's painful, it's crazy, and it really is kind of an insane display of aggression. And I guess what we can leave you guys with on this is the sage words of our president, who always has he always just has the most comforting and enlightening things to say in situations like these.
Too much wisdom
for us to handle, honestly. And maybe that's why we disagree with him a lot, is because it's very possible that we just aren't at that level yet.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
So I'm gonna read you his quote. It's pretty brief. His response to this provocation by Russia into Poland was, quote, "What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? ? Here we go! !
Here we go.
What does that mean? Here we go.
God, do you know if anyone was hurt?
That is a good question. Do you know?
I believe at the very least, I don't know about any like casualties, but I do know I think at least one of the drones either landed on or destroyed a Polish home.
Wow. Okay.
So there is like some, at the very least, like property damage and stuff from this. Also, it's just, I do think it's odd about the Trump's comment because it's like, if you're trying to be all buddy with Putin, this is a weird thing to say. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it feels like
that's why it confuses me.
I like never believed more that like that it's just an AI that does it now. Like honestly, like the more I read his Truth Social posts, the more I think that this is AI.
If something bad happens, I'll just have to blame AI.
Yes, that is a reference to last week's episode. So if you tune in weekly, you'll get these inside jokes. but like it like if there was ever a person that would be really really easy to train an AI to replicate, like it would be him.
Oh my god!
Like because that's just nobody on earth, you know, for better or worse, most of the times worse, nobody on earth acts like him.
I can't wait for the Trump AI to like really mess up and say something crazy, and then he's like, "I would never say that," and it's like, "Well, no, actually, you would."
So we've reached a point where we're accepting that the truth is that he is currently some sort of AI cyborg amalgamation.
AI, yeah.
He died 2 weeks ago, and we're dealing with Mecha Trump. It's like, isn't that the plot of like Doom with like Mecha Hitler?
Oh my god!
I don't know. I've never, but yeah. And we would never compare Trump to somebody like that.
Of course not.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Keeping it abroad, and again, my promise to you is that if you are interested in this, we are going to come domestic because we have opinions.
Yeah.
But you could say that.
You could say that. It could be a bit of an understatement. So, okay, in Nepal, the Nepalese government has.
Oh my god.
The Nepalese government has basably collapsed.
Yeah.
And it's like if you see the pictures, and maybe we can put some on the screen here, like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the parliamentary, I don't know exactly what they would call it over there, but the central government building over in Nepal, like totally burned out, like from the inside.
Yeah,
like,
I looked at the picture. It's just smoke,
like,
and fire.
And the prime minister has resigned, and it all started with a social media ban.
Wow,
well,
really?
not. I shouldn't say that. It didn't start with the social media ban. Was more of the tipping point.
Okay.
But in Nepal, they've been dealing with kind of corruption issues and a plethora of different things for a while now. But yeah, they wanted to crack down on social media, and the younger people of Nepal said, "Well, what if we burn down the capital?"
You know, I mean, like,
is kind of a valid response. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Take away Instagram.
Like for as awful, and we've talked about this before. Again, for as awful as these social media sites are for you, and as they are for all of us, if the American government came out and said no more TikTok, no more Reels,
I was gonna say,
no more anything.
Remember when, TikTok was banned for about 3 hours that one day.
For about 3 hours, yeah. And people, and we're lucky it was only for 3 hours because I think people actually started to lose their minds.
One more and.
A few more hours. Look. A few more hours. There would be a few state capitals that would be in ruin.
Yeah.
I really believe that because if you take away people's screen time.
Oh my god! Total mayhem in DC.
So here's the thing, right? And by no means am I a expert in Nepali politics, so we won't spend too much time on this. It is just an interesting thing.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody in America and you want, and you're not a big fan of this Trump administration. Maybe you want TikTok to be banned.
Yeah.
if this is a precedent for that. Yeah.
Everything that bad that's happened, and that the tipping point was they took away TikTok.
You know what's crazy is like I would actually believe, like I would believe that. Like I'm at a point in 2025 and just America, right?
Yeah.
Where I would actually genuinely believe that the tipping point for people in like wanting to like make a change and like get out in the streets. Everything that's happened, right? Including stuff we're going to talk about later. Again, everything that has already happened out of all things, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a TikTok ban that really got people mobilized.
I mean, Trump kept pushing it back, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. But if it did, I was honestly very excited to see what was going to happen. And then like it got back in like not even like an hour or two.
It was so funny because like for the longest time, TikTok was kind of like. I'm not necessarily a pariah of like the right wing sphere, but Donald Trump for a long time didn't really have a presence on TikTok, and I remember like kind of vividly. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I think he first made his TikTok account. I think it was sometime in 2024 last year.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he ends up winning the election. And lo and behold, after he wins the election, after, you know, because obviously he had a lot of followers on TikTok just because of who he was, you know, like all of a sudden Donald Trump was like, I love TikTok.
Yeah.
like amazing. I mean, because it helped him win.
Yeah.
And you know for sure it would be the total opposite reaction if for some reason he didn't win, or if like, you know, he wasn't as successful as he was on there.
The TikTok algorithm screwed him over.
Yeah. But Donald Trump loves TikTok because it helped him win.
Isn't it? I mean, it's kind of crazy, like, especially with the whole, like, Make America Healthy Again movement. It's like, yep, TikTok and McDonald's. These are the things that I'm going to really stake on.
Good for the mind and body.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, my God.
TikTok and McDonald's.
And RFK, my friend, consider yourself lucky that you're not on the agenda for today because that dude's doing some new things every day.
Oh God! No, sure. He's gonna become the new Elon. You know, because we don't really talk about Elon as much now, but I feel like RFK, especially. I mean, hell, this is the month where we're gonna find out the cause, not the cure, the cause. The cause of autism.
Yeah.
Totally could drop in though or I could find the clip of them being like, I think RFK said something about like all the work Trump did during COVID, like, helped save a bunch of lives or whatever, and then the congressman is like, so you're admitting vaccines work. He's like, I never said that. Like, whatever.
Maybe we should get him on. You think we can get RFK on?
You know,
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
We probably
join the quad pod.
But you could probably convince RFK that it's like God speaking to him. Because like he like
like don't tell him Connor has a mic. He's like, did you guys hear that? No, what are you talking about?
The voices.
It's there's an overrepresentation of people in our current government that look like they could collapse and die at any given moment, and he is one of them.
Yeah, you know, I'd say a majority of them look at any moment they're just gonna turn into dust and fly away.
It's almost like being like so evil just like saps you of any just life force that you have. It's
like Palpatine.
No, it is. Yeah. It really is. It's a deal with the devil. Like sure you can be president, and sure you can put forth any amount of unconstitutional, unspeakably immoral acts that you can conceive of, but you will pay the price.
And I think it's a mix of being evil and just being old. These people are so old. Like I honestly can't even blame them for looking how they are and talk and the way they sound too. I mean, RFK is a very specific scenario, but
it's
famous,
just,
not doctor.
Famous, not doctor. Yeah, prolific, not doctor.
We're just kidding, RFK. We would love to have you on.
Yeah, come on, man. I mean, right-wing politicians love their podcasts these days. So one more thing from the international sphere, and then we'll move domestic. There's, like I said, I feel like this week of all weeks, there's just like too many things happening. And I was saying that when we were looking at this too.
Yeah, and a lot of them are being just like so pushed down with everything that happened.
And it's almost impressive that so much has happened, because like just under this presidency, it's like even a slow week in 2025 is like a million things to talk about. It feels like there's a billion this week, but we're okay.
Yeah.
So this was a day or two ago, as of the recording of this episode, but Israel's military told residents of Gaza City in the Gaza Strip that they had to evacuate ahead of its planned offensive, and this is coming from AP News, by the way. They had to evacuate ahead of its planned offensive to take control of what it portrays as Hamas's last remaining stronghold, and where hundreds of thousands of people remain struggling under conditions of famine. So the reporting is that this is basically one of the last places in all of Gaza where people are, I would struggle to even say safe, but maybe like as out of harm's way as they could be,
safe
right? Like,
I mean, not safe, but as safe as it can be.
I guess that's the best thing you could say about it. But yeah, it's reached a point where Israel's military is telling them that they have to evacuate because they will be basically taking over that city, and things have obviously just gotten nothing but worse in this situation.
Yeah.
And it's just been going on for so long, and we're talking about it because it's important, and it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't even know what I personally would have to say that would add to this conversation though. Like if you see what's going on, like you know what this is, right?
Yeah, it's been happening for so long too. I mean, we just talked about Ukraine and Russia. I mean both these wars have been happening for just so long now, and it just is not getting any better for either of them. It feels like, especially with Israel and Gaza.
Yeah, I think that even if you're tepid to label it as such, like if you're looking at all of the indicators of what constitutes a genocide/genocidal actions, I mean, I feel like if you are earnestly looking at the facts of the situation, I think it can only lead you to that conclusion, because at no point throughout any of the Israeli operations in Gaza have they showed any. I mean, they'll extend the platitudes of, oh, this was a tragic mistake, right? Yeah. Like, oh, we didn't mean to do this. They'll say those things, but they have shown no indication that they are actually working to not just indiscriminately kill anybody and not care about it.
Yeah, and it's like, it feels like this has been in a conversation for a while now. So it's like, if they were going to do something about it, they would have done something a while ago now. Like,
yes.
It's kind of clear by this point, I from my perspective at least, that they're doing anything and everything they can to just end this war. Israel is, and I mean, like, by any means necessary.
And I think their means, so to speak, is and they've basically come out and said, and this is like a months old story, but do you remember when Netanyahu and Trump came together and said that they wanted to turn Gaza into like a luxury resort?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
So that's more or less been the openly stated goal for quite a while now. Is for this area to become occupied either by Israel or the United States, or in some weird joint fashion.
And the fact that it has to take like genocidal actions for a resort is
it's
absolutely absurd.
It is absurd. And I think the point that you raise is an important one, to the extent that nothing is going to change and it will only get worse. I mean, like it's hard to imagine, right? Like just the level of human suffering and just pain that has been inflicted upon these people. It's hard to imagine it getting worse, but it will.
It continuously does.
It will continue to get worse if nothing changes. And there just has been no indication, certainly not within the Israeli government, but also definitely not within the American government, no indication that anything is going to be materially done about this.
Yeah, I mean, all these protests and everything, it still is not going to any better.
No.
And if we're talking more of like a relating it back to not necessarily WCU, but just as like a newspaper, as a journalistic organization, I have here a graph published by Al Jazeera English on Instagram that shows journalists killed in different wars, like how many have died. And it says, since October 7th, 2023, Israel's killed 270 journalists and media workers in Gaza, which is more than any killed in any major war since the 1800s.
Yeah.
And this is published on August 12th, so it could have changed by then. I think it has changed by then. But every other one that they list on here, and I'll put this on screen, is, doesn't even crack 100. Like between the Afghanistan war and Vietnam, World War II and one, the U.S. Civil War, even Russia and Ukraine right now, none of it cracks 100. Like some of them don't even crack 50. This is like, it's like over triple, essentially. And it's just, and I think a lot of them have been Al Jazeera reporters, and it's just like that's another dimension to it. Is like they're also trying to like suppress information too. Because why else would that many journalists be dying?
Yeah, I mean, it also shows that there's, like I said, by any means to end this war and make sure Israel's on top. That's what they're at here.
And it shows specifically that Israel knows the truth of what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because if Israel genuinely believes what they were saying about, oh, this is strictly a military operation, and there's nothing to worry about because we're just fighting a war here. If they really did believe that, they wouldn't have to kill journalists.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, because that just means that you don't want the truth getting out, because they know the truth of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because that's the intent. They want these people gone, like you said, by any means.
Yeah.
And that is just, it's just really evil people in charge over there. I don't know.
No, yeah,
I struggle. I struggle to find the words.
It is kind of crazy to think that like just they're okay with this. How much killing of innocent people is just happening over there and nothing, and then killing the journalists on top of that to report on it. I mean, like you said, it just shows that they know exactly what they're doing and have no means of stopping anytime soon.
Yeah. So if anything is to change here, and again, it couldn't. It couldn't be worse, but it somehow will continue to get worse.
Yep.
If anything's going to change, like, I'll put it this way: if I were president today, right, I would say, hey, Israel, guess what? If this doesn't stop today, like within the hour, like you're not getting anything from us.
Yeah.
Like that's what it would take, and that's not going to happen. Like at least like under Trump, under Vance, under whatever, like the next 3 years, that's just not going to happen, and it's so unfortunate. And it's just
No, I mean you're right.
Yeah.
And especially with the administration we have now and how much aid is being sent, it's
totally ridiculous. And then I'm not even going to get too deep into this, but sorry. I'm not even going to get too deep into this, but then the whole angle of if you're against Israel, you're anti-Semitic. I mean, that's obviously, I don't have to, if you're still listening to this podcast, it's not the type of bullshit you'd buy into, but yeah, that's just so silly. But yeah.
I want to make that very clear that we are not
no,
anti-Semitic
yeah,
in any way.
No, not,
yeah.
Yeah, we're just saying that
I don't think it doesn't need to be said, but just to say it, to get it out there.
It's just, it's hard to, I mean, there's not really a good way to wrap this up. It's awful.
It's tragic,
so.
Yeah. But
yeah, obviously, if this is the sort of thing that, you know, you're maybe not so informed about, I would encourage you to do so. Like probably the preeminent important thing that is happening in the world right now. Like for as much as we'd like to get distracted by ourselves here in America, I mean, these people are going through hell. So
please stay informed on this. Like this is a major issue.
Yeah. Just educate yourself. That's what I'd say. But we will move into the United States. A lot of things going on here, of course.
Yes.
We touched last week. We talked last week about how it's funny, I was about to say Department of Defense, but Department of War.
No, yeah.
Department of War. That's what it is now, because that's an important thing. The Department of War shot down a boat off the coast of Venezuela that Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, everybody involved, not everybody involved, but the people like at the federal presidential level, they're certain that this was a drug boat.
Did they have the evidence for it?
No, they don't.
No, really.
No, they do not. And this is coming from a so kind of, you know, not too much more complex than what I said already. An American warship sank a vessel off the coast of Venezuela. It killed 11 people. So like, you know, that's not a nothing thing. You know, 11 people were killed. Yeah. And here's the thing too. And I may even have mentioned this last week, but I'll say it again. Even if you believe that these guys were like even if we are to assume that these people were carrying drugs, like, you know, with the intent to sell them,
like they're saying,
like they're saying, and we'll get to that. There's not really any evidence for that. Even if we are to assume that these people were on a drug boat with the intent to sell drugs, since when is the penalty for selling drugs death?
Yeah,
it's like, and that because that's what they're using to justify it. It's like, oh, this was fine because they were dealing drugs,
which makes me think it's actually something way worse. You know,
it could be.
But also, if you're gonna lie about it, why would you lie and say it's a drug boat and just make it like, oh yeah, like?
I mean, it's such a crackpot thing. Where like I almost do believe it that like that is their reason and they think that's valid because like they're insane, like these are insane people.
It's an insane thing to think that like, oh yeah, it was a drug boat, so they all deserve to get blown up by a missile.
And like here's the thing, right? If you're so convinced that's a drug boat, look, obviously drugs are bad, and I'm not like a spokesman from Dare, but like, you know, like whatever. And if you wanted to be like, oh hey, like we're gonna you know like search the vessel and like get on it and, you know, If you have drugs, we're going to take the drugs. You don't just shoot it down.
Yeah, like it's target practice or something. Like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And the development recently, which makes this even crazier, and because the defense that they were using was that it was in self-defense that they did this, but there's also they're adding on the layer of like, oh, it doesn't matter anyways because they're drug dealers. The development that has come out as of September 10th, I get this from the New York Times, is that the boat was retreating as it was being shot at.
Really?
Yes, and like very basically. And it's crazy to say because the administration's saying like, oh, like under the law of war, this is valid, but that's not like we're not at war with Venezuela.
Yeah, and
like
also the thing like, oh, just because they're drug dealers, that doesn't mean they aren't people and have families. And like I don't know, like I think they're just saying them, they're calling them drug dealers, and it's like, oh yeah, then they deserve to die. Like no.
It is now being reported that this vessel was in the process of turning around and retreating as it was being shot at. And, under the laws of war, which they were previously claiming as like a pretense for like this being okay, like it probably goes without saying, but like it is internationally illegal to like shoot, kill, whatever, a vessel or a person that like is retreating. Like you can't do that.
Yeah. The whole thing is like so.
Yeah. Because like,
I don't know.
I feel like you could even say like regardless of like what was on that boat, like if you're a Venezuelan ship and you see an American warship, like no matter what's on that boat, you're probably gonna be like, okay, let's turn around. Yeah.
Has Venezuela even responded?
I'm sure that they have. I'm not familiar with what they would have said. I do know that Venezuela is not a country we're on good terms with. I mean that probably goes without saying because we have warships on their coast.
Yeah.
So the relationship between the relationship between America and Venezuela, not a good one. So I wouldn't imagine that they have very nice things to say about that. Apparently Donald Trump said that the military, quote, acted in line with the laws of armed conflict to protect our country from, quote, evil narco-terrorists trying to poison our homeland. And this guy, he has a real thing for hyperbole.
I like that he just knows exactly what they're doing.
He knows.
And, yeah.
And this article says multiple times that there has been no hard evidence provided for this. Just to be very clear. So they're absolutely like convinced that this is what it was, but there has not been any evidence put forward. And a funny thing to that is, so reading from the article here, quote, he has not put forward, he being Donald Trump has not put forward evidence to support those assertions, but has said, quote, we have tapes of them speaking.
And that's all we need. That's all we need. Yeah,
and you don't need to hear them because like just trust us.
Yeah. Trump's like, I heard it myself, guys. I know.
And again, we all trust Donald Trump to make the right decisions for this country. Yeah, I do trust him.
He's never lied or never had.
Donald Trump would never lie to us. Let's be real. Donald Trump keeps it on the level. Yeah. He's not going to lie to us. Nope. We know that.
And he always has America's best interests,
But he does. Yeah. And that's it's just it's true, Yeah. Yeah. Also, speaking of our president who would never lie to us, would never mislead us, would never put us astray.
Did get caught lying.
Did get caught, or maybe maybe not if you believe Republicans. We're gonna get into
this. I guess I'll wait till.
I think I know what you're gonna say, and the answer is yes. But we'll get into that. So earlier this week, the Epstein estate was officially subpoenaed, and they officially released a letter from Donald Trump it was a birthday letter. And I believe it was in some sort of book where it was messages from any number of people for his birthday. But
yeah, and this is this stuff right now isn't old news, but like the acknowledgement of this letter is like we've known about this letter for a while now.
Yes,
but now it's finally actually released.
That is good clarification because the text of this letter did release even a few months back, if I recall correctly. Yeah, but the full thing is released now, and I don't even know.
It's somehow crazier than.
I almost don't even know if we would show it on the screen or not because it is kind of like weird.
Yeah, I mean, we can describe it. It is.
Yeah, so it's Donald Trump seemingly sketched the outline of a woman's body to include the breasts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a naked body.
A naked body.
With
yes.
I mean, if you haven't seen the actual letter, like it's like a dialogue between him and Epstein, talking about like life can't get much better than this, can it?
Yeah, talking about like wonderful little secrets.
How,
I'm paraphrasing,
how like
but
similar they are, and how they knew when they first met each other. And I forget what the last line is, but it's like to many. It's like something along the lines of like to many more secrets or something like that.
You know what? Because I want to be able to quote this. I'm gonna
it's so crazy, and you know, and I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he denied the existence of this exact thing.
Yeah, he did.
And now it's out.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this, and you know, for all the viewers at home, do you remember Dora the Explorer? You know, they'd say they'd hit you with like exercises to do like while the show's going on.
Yeah.
Like, can you count to 7? I'm gonna read this to you, and I want you to think to yourself, what are the odds that these men were so close and had this relationship that they did, and also were not engaging in the same things? And also, how weird do you think this is on a scale of 0 to fucking crazy pedophile? So that's what I'm gonna do.
Yep. Start from the.
I can read the whole thing, and I will.
I was gonna say we could swap roles, but I think it's best just if you just read it.
Oh, no, let's swap roles. Wait, Connor. Who's Epstein and who's Trump?
Not it, bro. For either.
Oh my god.
You have to choose. We can't choose.
Like who's is supposed to start off
Hold
the
on.
letter?
Okay, it starts off with a voiceover, so you can do voiceover.
Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna Google coin flip. So and whoever loses it has to be Epstein.
Okay.
So call it heads or tails.
Heads.
You call it heads.
Yeah.
So if it's heads,
I gotta be
no. If it's heads, you win, and you don't have to be him.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you called heads. So I'm Googling coin flip.
Let's go.
Nothing that I'm about to say.
I should say this either, honestly. I don't know if I'm going to say it any better.
So we present to you a theatrical experiment in which I will be playing the part of Jeffrey Epstein.
And I'll be playing the role of Donald J. Trump.
And this is what you tuned in for, folks. So we're here. So
there must be more to life than having everything.
Yes, there is. But I won't tell you what it is.
Nor will I, since I also know what it is.
We have certain things in common, Jeffrey.
Yes, we do. Come to think of it.
Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that?
Oh my God. As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you, Donald. A pal is a wonderful... Wait, no, that's you.
Fine. A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Donald J. Trump.
So...
Like, I don't...
So that's how pedophiles talk to each other, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can basically like in more words say I'm a pedophile. Like honestly,
the only more like it could only get more like the only way it could have been more incriminating is if he was like, I'm a pedophile. That is the only like that is
like it literally is like you cannot read that and it not be so creepy. Like everything about that.
It's so and like. I didn't even like truly appreciate how weird that was until I had to actually like play that part, so to speak. That is like disgusting, bro.
I don't like the like I won't tell you what it is.
No.
Like, oh, it's so weird. It's so terrible.
And like we don't have to really provide like the analysis on this because it's like it's already been done and just by hearing it like you know what it is. But it's like
it doesn't make your skin crawl. I don't know what will.
Yeah, also like I mean you didn't get to see this, but like we're reading it in between the figure, like the sketch of a naked body. Does not make it any better.
We have certain things in common. Yes, we do, come to think of it. Enigmas never age. Guys,
have you noticed?
My God.
That's Donald saying, like, that's like, oh my God, it's so terrible.
I'm closing that tab out. I'm done with that.
I would delete that from my history, honestly. Everything about that's so terrible.
No more of that, please.
Now, not so much specifically, about the letter, but it's off my computer and I can think a little more clearly now. So there's a signature at the bottom that is clearly Donald Trump's, but Republicans are saying that it's fake and that it's not actually a signature. Even though this is something that was reported on months ago and is now officially released, and like the experts are saying that this is his signature.
Yeah.
But, you know, classic Republican tactic in the face of fact and reason. No, it's fake. That's what they're saying. It's fake. And this isn't even necessarily a claim that I want to provide that much, like airtime to, because it's like, it's not fake. It's not like you can't like you just can't say that like it's real. Like it is.
Well, it is like shockingly terrible and creepy to read. Am I shocked at all that it came from Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump? No. It doesn't shock me at all. It sounds exactly like something. It's something I could totally see that coming from his Truth Social post like tomorrow. Yes. Like
it's obviously not shocking that Epstein was a part of this. But then are we going to be so naive as to say that there's just no way? There's just no way that Donald Trump could do this. Donald Trump, who has been held civilly liable for sexual harassment and has just been a creep his entire life. There's just no way. Are we for real going to be that naive people?
Yeah, and at this point, it's like it's so like that only like is another like I don't know coal in the fire of like it's so obvious Trump was a part of this. It's just like about getting the files actually released.
Yes,
and getting them out there. We all know he's a part of it.
He's in
this
them.
is only
he's in them.
Further showing that.
Close personal friends with obviously Jeffrey Epstein, but also Diddy, right? He said that he was friends with him.
Yeah, and also didn't he say like he was considering a pardon? Like he would like think about it.
Yeah, he did say that. Which
it's like
that's a whole other thing.
Your track record is not exactly helping you out there, bud.
The best of friends. Trump only has the best of friends.
Have
you guys seen the interview clip where I might just cut this out, but the interview clip where Donald Trump's being interviewed by I think 2 women or something like that. I forget what it is. Anyway, he's on camera with them, and I think it is an interview.
Yeah.
And someone like briefly mentions Diddy, and this is in like the 90s, I think. And he was on this whole like tirade about how great Diddy is and he's a great guy, whatever.
I have seen this.
And the 2 girls on like the other side of the camera like look visibly uncomfortable. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, just trying to not get, like, lit up.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of doing the thing where he's like, he's a great guy, right? Like, he just, like, really kind of sort of backs him into a corner a little bit. And it's like, man, you can't defend, like, granted it was like 30 years ago now, but, like, still, that's out there. Like...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
and it's like, this is what they do at this point. They don't care about women. Like maybe that's some people hear that and think it's controversial, but I mean, look at their stance on abortion. Look at their stance on like sexual discrimination policy. Look at the Epstein files.
Yeah.
They like, I believe it's been multiple times now that Republicans have, not entirely, unified. There are some outliers, I guess, to give them a little bit of credit. But mostly as a monolith, Republicans have voted to not release these files. And in doing so, have voted to not provide justice to the people of these terrible acts. And that's the fact of the matter.
Except notably Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Except for Marjorie Taylor Greene, yeah.
Who is standing with Democrats, apparently, on this one specific
Apparently.
issue.
It makes me think there's something, like, so crazy happening behind the scenes here that, like, Republicans, like, somehow think it is okay for Trump to, like, not be, for Trump just be, like, thrown under the radar about the whole Epstein files. There's no way there's, like, yep, it is okay for Trump not to be part of this. Like,
I can't even provide a commentary on that because that's not even a headspace I can attempt to get into. But you are right. It's just, I mean, of all things, like there are Republicans that are on the side of releasing it. So who knows? Like maybe. I would still probably say it's unlikely, just given how much of them just kowtow and bootlick to Trump. But hey, if your representative is a Republican, because I think Democrats have universally voted to release this.
Yeah.
So that's not so much of a concern. But if you're watching this and you're somebody that lives in a district represented by a Republican, I don't know. It seems like the kind of issue that some of them can be swayed on. Yeah. Out of all issues, it's, Yeah,
I think
but this is the one. I don't know.
It's something so terrible and horrible. Even some Republicans are like, oh, we can't let this slide anymore.
Yeah. But at the same time, you have the ones that are just totally like Jim Jordan said, I haven't seen it, but he said, I don't buy it. And again, I'm not even gonna give credence.
We could talk about this for hours.
We could, but it's basically, and I should say this is our opinion. But our opinion, and you've said it yourself, so I feel comfortable saying our opinion, is that Trump is in those files. And it's probably really bad.
Oh, come on. There's absolutely, why would they not have released them at this point? And they're like, oh, they're not real.
Mm-hmm.
They're real.
Yep.
And they exist, and he is on them. Yes. And it's just, it's so obvious at this point. Even while it was going on, even other Republicans thought he handled the situation very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I don't know.
The amalgamation of that evidence has to lead you to that logical. I mean, it's the logical conclusion. Because I don't know. Moving on. Yes. So as we're recording on September 11th, there were multiple things that happened yesterday. The first thing that I would like to talk about, because I feel like this has just not gotten the amount of coverage that it deserves, is in Colorado, there was yet another, and it's just, we say that all the time, yet another school shooting, which is just one of those things that is probably one of the worst things that could ever happen, ever.
And it continues.
It continues to happen. So yeah, as I said, this one happened in Colorado. Now, the latest article that I have here is saying that there are currently no actual deaths that have been reported.
Okay.
It's being reported that the two people that were shot, students, I think they are in critical condition. That's what this New York Times article is saying, at least, that they're in critical condition. And those, I believe, reading this article, and this is what they say, that those are the two students who were shot. So, and last time, I mean, it's a difficult thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Last time there was an update, it seems like they were living. And so, of course, hope that they pull through.
Yeah. Pray for them. Yeah.
Super tragic. There's really not that much information specifically out on it in terms of a motive why this kid did it, because it was a kid. It was a 16-year-old.
I was gonna say, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a 16-year-old. I don't know if they specified here. I'm assuming he was a student of the school. I guess that would make sense. It was a high school. Apparently the weapon was a revolver. Let's see. To get back to this, the police are reporting that the weapon was a revolver handgun that he, I don't think there's any details yet on how he acquired it, but that was the weapon that was used. And this is, like we said, this is a thing that just continues and continues to happen.
It's got to be one of the most tragic and depressing and upsetting things that nothing seems like no one's doing anything about.
No, it's this is the sort of thing you could have a whole podcast on, write a whole thing about. But I would certainly argue that there is it's not a coincidence that we are the only developed country on earth that experiences these tragedies in the way that we do. And it's not a coincidence that we are also a country that really has very, very loose limits on who was allowed to obtain military equipment. Not that this was with a revolver, so I don't know. Maybe
still,
but still, it's like
the fact a 16-year-old was able to have access to
access to any weapon,
to any gun of any kind, is absurd to me.
Yeah.
Well, and not to interject, but I do think that's also might be pertinent to include here that it was just recently that there was a fairly major House bill, I believe, released in Congress, legislation that would have drastically increased resources and funding for mental health services. I don't know if it was in schools or just in general, but that was adamantly struck down by House Republicans. Or maybe it wasn't House, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just the thing that could help ease this, or one of the aspects that could help ease this problem, was not just struck down, but strongly struck down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a conversation that should go right alongside talks about the Second Amendment is mental health stuff, because no one who's feeling normal does stuff like this.
No. And I soundly would reject the notion that it's just one or the other. I strongly believe that it has to be both. Because when Republicans say it's a mental health issue, they are right. Like that, but that's only half the truth in my mind, at least. Like that is that's a correct thing to say. But again, that is only half the truth. And I think a lot of it when they say that is just to distract from the fact that, oh, well, what is being used in these shootings? Well, they're shootings, so they're guns.
Yeah.
Like, and if they were actually for real about this rhetoric, which they're not, I mean, that's kind of a running theme with Republicans. I'm sorry. One more thing. I didn't mean to cut you off. If they were for real about caring about mental health and like genuinely believing that, you know, mental health was the cause of this issue, they would put funding into mental health, which they don't, and they never have. So it's clear that they just don't care about the issue.
Yeah, and I absolutely hate the argument that like, okay, if guns kill people, then like forks eat stuff. Like, or like, that's just, it's such a stupid claim to make, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
It's really,
and like, are you serious? And I mean, like, in my opinion, that I don't think anyone should be able to just get a firearm that easily.
And I totally agree with you. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that if you would like to, and look, I understand, right? Like people like maybe even more so depending on where you live, area to area. Like if you want to have like some sort of weapon to like defend yourself with in your home, or like if you're a hunter, like nobody's ever gonna like, I don't think there's any like rational American that is saying that these shouldn't be things.
Yes.
Because yes. That being said, like if you do in fact want to purchase a weapon that can be used to effectively kill people, like there should be like I'm sorry, but there should be a process for this. And maybe it's not a fun process to go through, but like we need to actually make sure that psychopaths aren't getting weapons.
Yeah, and it's just insane that, I mean, these stories keep happening, and with everything that happened that we'll talk about after this was just kind of thrown under the radar.
Yes.
Like I think people are becoming almost like sensitized to it, if you know what I mean. Like,
and
you hear about another school shooting, and it's like, oh, like I don't know. It's as tragic. You hear it's as tragic as the last one, but it happens so often. I think people are almost desensitized to it. Is what I meant to say.
And not to cut you off, Carlo, but something I brought up, and this is one of these times where it's like we could talk about this for hours, but I did just want to bring up briefly this is from like congress.gov. This is like the written out Second Amendment. And it says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So I might know if I'm crazy, but it does seem to me that wording insinuates that like it should be so that there can be militias, so that you can have this like regulated thing, which is like, I mean, I don't think that there are militias anywhere. Maybe there are. But like, the point of it seems even still to be that there's a regulated sort of body that is deciding how that is used and whatever like that. Mm-hmm. Not people can go buy and like any kind of weapon.
And I think it's crazy that people nowadays look at that and say like, see, it says right there that you can anyone should be able to bear arms. Back when they were using muskets.
And
like I don't think
absolutely
whoever I don't like people that wrote that, I don't think they ever imagined someone walking around with an AR-15.
No, not even a chance.
Yeah.
Also to say, like there is clear constitutional precedent and near universal understanding that amendments do have certain limits to them, and this may be an example that you've heard overused, but it's nevertheless relevant in the situation. The First Amendment. The First Amendment is an amendment that everybody, there's not a whole lot of controversy. Well, there is, but okay, you know what? First Amendment, push all the bullshit aside. The First Amendment protects people's right for free speech and to say what they want, say what they want when they want to say it. It's constitutionally understood, however, that, and again, this is such a basic thing, I'm sure you've heard it before, but you can't yell into a crowded theater and yell fire because that is dangerous. That is not the intent of the First Amendment to protect speech like that. And I think it also tracks in the same way that the intent of the First Amendment was not to protect speech that is directly harmful, I certainly do not believe that the intent of the Second Amendment was to totally protect anybody from getting any weapon that they want. I think that is a totally childish interpretation of that amendment, casting aside the fact that I think it's a totally morally bankrupt interpretation.
Yeah, and it's just so dangerous. It's such a dangerous thing to like speak out and say that the Second Amendment should allow anyone to hold a firearm and feel free to use it. I don't know. Right. It's a very childish interpretation of the entire thing to get what you want. Mm-hmm. They're not looking at America's best interest, just what that individual wants.
You know what it is? It's like if I took you out to dinner, which is if I get the chance one day, I'd be honored. Oh. Guys, there's nothing more going on here. Promise.
Nothing at all.
No. But if I took you out to dinner, right? And I said, yeah, you know, like get whatever you want, man. Like, you know, it's all me. And you then proceeded to order the most expensive champagne on the menu and the most expensive filet mignon steak. Not really what I meant by that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my take on it.
And I will take you up on it.
What did you say?
You said it'll take me up on it. I mean, I kind of got butterflies right now.
But and that whole kind of series of things, I think, bleeds pretty well into kind of the big ticket thing right now.
Yes.
If we want to go
yes,
there.
we will. And
one kind of begets the other.
To put the, you know, metaphorical exclamation point on today's episode, I am glad that we covered this first because, like I said, in light of what happened yesterday, something as tragic as this flew under the radar, which it should not have.
No,
and yes, we were very intentional about covering that one first. We spoke about it before the show too.
Yes.
But the thing that perhaps more of you, or almost certainly more of you, if not all of you, have heard about, going into, sorry, brain fart, if we can cut that, sorry. But the thing that most of, if not all of you have heard about, is the killing of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, anywhere you go on social media or the news, it's everywhere.
It has been a lot.
It has.
It's been a lot. Like, a lot of discourse, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think this specific section of the show, and thank you for reminding me of this earlier, is warranting of a disclaimer that any opinions that we provide here are not in any way representative of the quad as a whole.
Yes, they are very much our own opinions, not related to the quads. Yes.
So, and again, it's a lot. I'm trying to figure. Okay. So I think Sam and I can both agree that like violence in any sort of ideal world, and really even in our world, I think if you're just, violence should never be used as a means to an end, because just not how, I mean, that's not how we get things done in America. No, it's not.
Gun violence in any way, especially like this.
Yes. And it is very hand in hand with the things you talked about before. Like, gun violence, no matter who is the victim, like, gun violence is awful. It is an epidemic in this country. And I hope that if anything good is to come of this situation, and like the prominence of it is really like, hey, like,
wake up.
We need to like do something about this. Like because it doesn't discriminate. It does not discriminate. Charlie Kirk was about as pro Second Amendment as you can get.
Yeah.
And
there are quotes of him saying that. Like, it's
there are certainly quotes of him saying that. He said himself that a certain amount of gun deaths per year are worth it to have the Second Amendment. And
opinions on that statement are varied.
Nobody here, and really nobody, I think in general, would ever advocate for direct violence against people as a means of solving a problem. Because again, of all places in America, that is not how we do things.
No, absolutely not.
I was really wrestling with this, right? And I know I've even before recording we talked about this too.
Yes.
Because I just don't know, because I know a lot of people are saying that they feel bad. And look, like you said, and everybody's saying, the children and the wife, the family, yes, feel terrible, because that is like his actions are not theirs, and feel terrible for them.
Yeah, there's much empathy for the family, and to have to go through a tragedy like this, I couldn't imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's so much happening. There's so much discourse about it, and certainly a lot will change by the time this comes out. But it is certainly a moment I don't think I'm gonna forget.
No, and to circle this conversation back to a place that I think is ultimately, hopefully, productive in some sort of way, and it's what we were saying at the beginning, is that gun violence happens everywhere in this country. It doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter who you are. And it is horrific. And I'll say this in regards to the Kirk killing. If you saw that video, and I wouldn't encourage you to look it up if you haven't seen it. It is very graphic.
Do not look up the video.
If you saw the video and you were rightfully kind of, taken aback and disgusted by what you saw when you were looking at the destructive capabilities of a rifle that is legal to purchase in the United States, if you were rightfully disgusted by that, then that's happening to kids, man.
Yeah.
I don't I'm not going to go into graphic detail about it, but right?
Yeah, and that's why we found it so crazy and important to bring up the school shooting story first, then this Charlie Kirk story, because 2 kids were critically injured.
Yeah.
And yet that is not receiving nearly as much focus than the Charlie Kirk passing, which, as tragic as it is.
Earlier today, I actually saw someone repost on Instagram a kind of in reference to, was it Colorado? I apologize.
Colorado, yeah.
The Colorado school shooting. Was a list of all the school shootings that have happened in however long a time span in America. But at first it was one of these kind of carousel posts with multiple pictures,
Yeah.
And I saw at first just the one picture, and I thought that was it. And even then I was still felt the gravity of it. And then you swipe for 4 pictures. It's 12-point font, and it's just 2 columns of lists of examples. And I think that is that's kind of the, not interesting, but the pertinent point to make, Carlo, is this reaction that we're having to this is should be 200-fold or whatever, because of, you look at that list.
Yeah.
And it's that's the reality for, however many hundreds of people on that list.
I also think, going off that, it's the responsibility of the newspaper and the news organizations to I put these stories at the front page.
Yeah.
And I don't know, so something like this doesn't fly under the radar again. But the thing is, it's happened so many times that I don't think a newspaper or a news organization is shocked anymore.
That's a wonderful point, because you probably remember before we even hit record today, trying to find different stories to talk about, as we do when we're building our agenda, on the New York Times. And I was it's pretty shameful. I think it's pretty shameful. On the New York Times, there was close to a dozen stories about Charlie Kirk and that situation. And to find this story about a school shooting in which 2 children were critically injured, you had to scroll a ways down, and it certainly was not on the front page. I think that is shameful, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and I do believe that both stories should be talked about, but I think there's a clear difference between 2 innocent children being critically injured and Charlie Kirk getting assassinated.
And I mean, this is a little bit of a step back conversationally, but just I think even more to the point of like considering the school shootings is, I mentioned to you guys before, but like a friend of mine at a school I won't name, but experienced an on-campus shooting, earlier today as of filming. And, granted, I don't have all the exact details again because it is just like such a raw thing, but like it's not, it isn't this rarity. Like, happens to people like stuff like that. Like, luckily my friend wasn't involved, but according to him and the people that, he heard from or talked to on campus, that there's somebody who was rushed to the ER with a headshot wound because of, and I don't know the more scrupulous details there, but like, it's not, it's, you forget sometimes that, like you said, it's kind of sometimes it gets desensitized to it, but it's very real.
It's incredibly scary to think about, and being at a school, and I mean, like, that has luckily not had to experience that. It almost makes me feel like it's a matter of time if nothing changes,
That's the temperature right now in the country. It's unfortunate, but it is.
If nothing changes with the way the Second Amendment works and the law and the rules and how long it takes to acquire a firearm, I don't know. It's incredibly scary to think about.
It's a problem that has, I think, a pretty clear solution, or even if not a crystal clear solution, a very clear path to follow. That if we only chose to like step on that path and walk forward, we could start the process of fixing this. That has not happened. It hasn't happened because it just hasn't. I mean, there's like a total unwillingness from the Republican Party, and I in part, I would blame the Democrats too, because they haven't been saying enough about this. They haven't been making enough a big deal about this. But it's akin to having like a scab that is bleeding profusely and just choosing not to put a Band-Aid over it, choosing not to disinfect it. It is. We know what we can do to fix this, because this is not a problem in other places. It has just been a continuous choice to not do this. And for any politician, whether it be on a federal level or a state level, that has voted against gun control measures, like, this blood is on their hands. Yeah. It is. It just is. And I think that is the productive conversation to have about this. I think, look, and again, feel bad for Charlie Kirk's family. But I'm not convinced that Charlie Kirk himself should be the center of this story. I think the focus of this story should be, well, it's time. It's been time. But this needs to be the wake-up call that something needs to be done.
And it is upsetting to think that the numerous amounts of school shootings wasn't enough to be a wake-up call. But if this is what it takes to be a wake-up call, then so be it.
Couldn't agree more.
And these are not easy conversations to have, and I can understand why a news organization wouldn't put a school shooting on their the first thing you see. It's so depressing to see and so tragic, but it can't just be thrown to the bottom and go under the radar. They should be the first thing you see.
It's an uncomfortable truth, but it is the truth.
Yes.
And it's something that, in theory, and I say in theory because it almost just feels like you said, it's been going on for so long, it almost feels like an impossibility that anything's actually going to be done about this. But if we vote accordingly, because, and I promise you this, like, whatever anybody's stance is on the Second Amendment, nobody wants to see what's happening to these children continue to happen. So if only we would vote accordingly. We live in a democracy, and the framework is there for this changes to be made. So frustrating is an understatement. Infuriating is probably a more accurate word.
And just overall upsetting, honestly.
Deeply upsetting. But it's been a rough week. We went through a lot of things. We wanted to end on this one just because, I don't know, it's a bit of a wet blanket, but
it's important.
Again, uncomfortable truth, but it's one that has to be talked about. So I don't.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah,
they're not the easy conversations to have, but ones that have to be had.
But yeah, I guess just.
Spread the word on this stuff. No matter how upsetting it is, it is important that this information gets out. Otherwise, people might think that this isn't happening. Just because they haven't heard about one in a while doesn't mean it's not. It's happening. Yeah,
it's happening, and it will continue to happen.
Yes,
so.
Unless there's something happens. But
terrible state of affairs. But do what you can as a citizen in a democratic country to make these changes happen. Even if it is 3 years down the line, because this administration, it's hard to imagine any headway being made under this administration, but we have to try. We have to try. So I guess that's not much more for us to add to that.
Yeah, it was a very upsetting and tragic week.
Yeah. But
I mean,
I said this before, and maybe it's a bit tired, but the people that are in charge right now, not good people. I think you and I would agree on that. But look, they're not very smart, and I think we can make this work, guys.
Yeah, I think just staying hopeful is, the best we can do right now, and just spreading the word and staying informed. I think that's okay.
That's fair. Yeah.
I wish we could end it more hopefully and a little more optimistic, but that's just the way this week was, and
yeah,
it's terrible to say.
There are limits with everything, and there are limits to the extent that which Sam and I, for as much as we would like to put a positive spin on things, there are limits to our ability to do that because.
We saw earlier in this episode, we brought some humor to things, and even if they were tragic, we tried our best, but there's certain things that you can't do that on, and
this is one of them.
Yeah.
This is one of them. So I would agree with you. Stay hopeful, because if you give up, then if you give up, then they've succeeded. So definitely don't do that. Don't do that. Keep that head up. Keep fighting. Even if change is 3 years down the road under a new administration, we have to keep that hope. We have to.
And you have to make it to that.
Yes.
Endpoint. You have to, or not endpoint, but you have to keep pushing to get there.
Yes.
And let's just hope that next week is better.
Yeah.
Let's push for that.
We're gonna be here to go through those steps with you. Your family and friends are gonna be there to go through those steps with you. It's not a lot of good stuff these days, but hey, just remember that you're human. I don't know. It's the only thing I can say is that if it's been a bad day for you, because it's been bad, confusing days for all of us, do something that makes you happy. You know what I mean? Remind yourself that you're human, because you need that sometimes. You need to remind yourself that you're just a human. And for you, if that's sitting down playing video games all night, hey, that's what it is. That's what it is for me on a lot of nights. If it's binge watching a TV show for 5 hours, hey, that's what it is. Taking a walk out in nature, go do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's very easy now to see the news landscape and see how dark and depressing a lot of this is, and to kind of take that in and feel those things and really carry them with you. I've certainly felt that a lot, especially recently, and it is really difficult, but just understanding that you are human, and it is human to feel those things and to have empathy. It's really important.
Yeah, that's a very important point, because I felt heavy and tired and confused. I mean, really for most of the year, but especially these past 2 days.
Yes.
So that it's normal. Like if you're a human who cares about other people, this is normal. And just remind yourself that you are human. It's important.
And one thing I heard recently, and I'm not trying to keep us too long, but was that I forget where the phrase comes from, but someone said hope is something you give yourself. You have to kind of do those things for yourself. Those playing video games or taking a walk or whatever, and you have to kind of allow yourself to kind of keep moving and look to the future for and to allow yourself to work for change and stuff like that. Like you said, Carl, it is possible. We have the framework, and you got to take care of yourself, but that's important too.
And just because maybe this day sucked or the week sucked or just the whole month or year has been really bad for you or anybody, it doesn't mean it always has to be that way, and it can always get better.
And who knows if this is actually true, but classic saying is what, night is always darkest before it's dawn.
I think so.
So, hey, you got to give yourself that hope, like Connor said, because nobody's going to give it to you. That's for damn sure. Yeah. Not in this climate.
But even though we had to be extremely negative this episode, do your best to stay positive.
Do your best to stay positive. I guess I'll say this. Maybe this is a reasonably positive thing to end on. Just day to day. I've said this before, but this is how I live my life. What in moments where it's like I don't necessarily know what to do with my emotions or my thoughts or whatever. You have to give yourself, give yourself something. It sounds kind of like maybe dramatic, but just give yourself in your head something to live for, right? Like, even if it's like a new movie coming out that you want to see,
yeah,
right? Like Severance season 3. If you just totally mentally check out right now, then you're not going to be able to see Severance season 3, and that's pretty fucking.
Yeah, that would.
You don't want that to happen, right?
Yeah.
So.
And it can be for anything too, whether it's a new game, new movie,
or
anything, or seeing another person, or.
Yeah, cast aside the fact that I have a wonderful family and a very loving girlfriend. Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out in May, and I can't miss that. I can't.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen unless something outside of my control happens. That's not going to happen. So.
But this is because we're a college podcast too. Going back home to seeing your family is incredibly important. And something to have hope for. And even if things are dark right now, and if you're alone or by yourself, there's always something to be looking forward to.
And I'll say this because, we are a college podcast and we have this ability. If you've been listening this long and you're just looking for a sense of community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We are the Quad. Even if you don't write for us, you can just come and be a part of us. If you want to take pictures, if you want to help produce digital content, if you want to write, certainly. That's our main thing.
We are open to anybody.
Everybody. Yeah.
And I definitely think multiple people, if not everybody involved, would tell you that's the best decision that they've made at Westchester.
Yeah,
100%.
It'd be crazy to say that this being a part of the Quad and especially the podcast has not had a positive impact on my life, and will continue to do so. If
I talked about it at any sort of length, I probably would end up crying because I love you guys so much, and I love this organization so much. So that's the sort of passion that we bring to the table. So if you've listened for this long, I can only assume that you've moderately enjoyed us.
Yeah.
The invitation is more than open.
And we'd love
you know
to
what I mean?
You
Yeah, I'd love to have you.
The Quad family, to not sound cultish.
We're in Sykes 253. We meet Mondays at 4:30, and all of our information is available. We can go to our Instagram is WCU Quad, and any information about reaching out to us, you can easily find there. So,
of course.
I think we managed to spin it into a forward-looking, positive way.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah.
But I guess we can end it there. I'll say thank you so much for watching. Stay hopeful. And my name is Sam.
My name is Carlo. Thank you so much. And we will be back with you next week. Yes. So thank you.
Signing out.
Bye.